Hi, good morning. It's January 12th at about 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm excited to talk to you about the astrology of the day. We have two active trines happening right now, one in water signs between Mars and Neptune, and one in earth signs between the Sun and Uranus. And when we combine these energies, it's an especially interesting weekend, a good time for resolving conflicts or challenges, maybe even ones that have been around for a while, or making progress on goals. So I'll explain why I talked about, or why I mentioned in the thumbnail, changing inside and out. I'll explain that as we get into this conversation. But good morning, I'm Gina. I'm so happy to be here with you today for January 12th, 2025, today's daily astrology live chat. I'm doing this every day in 2025. We talk about the current astrology, astrology in general, and it's a chance to answer any questions that you have. Really, really enjoying building the community with everyone in this way, going back and forth in the chats. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I did a few things in advance just to make this a little bit easier. Set up some of the terms that we'll be using, looking at some of these different planets. I think that using a little bit of a visual is helpful for understanding, for clarity. And you can follow along with the visuals if you like that. And if you don't enjoy them and you just want to sort of hear about the astrology and participate on that level, that's great too. First, let me just mark the trines that we're working with right now, because if you have planets and points here, it's sort of especially important to know that. Okay, so first we have Mars here in Cancer, trining Neptune here in Pisces. Both of these planets are in water signs, right? So they're forming a trine to each other. And, oops, put that there. I want to just actually label these because it can be so easy to lose that thread. You know what I mean? Sort of forget what we're doing, what we're talking about. Neptune and Mars. Oh, so sorry, everybody. I'm too slow with this. If I was faster, it would feel more valuable of a process. Thank you for your patience. It's a nice thing about the live stream that the pace can be just a little bit different. Okay. So first we have our trine between Mars and Neptune in water signs, right? And that is actually exact today. The Sun Uranus trine that I'm about to talk about is exact on the 13th, and we have this full moon in Cancer in the middle. So all of this is really active throughout the weekend and into early next week. So Mars is also retrograde in Cancer right now. So let's just talk about this Mars in Cancer for a second. Mars retrograde in Cancer is bringing in an inward focus, right? An emotional focus. We're sort of feeling motivated emotionally to understand where we are emotionally, and those emotions are more sort of on the surface to be seen. We're focused on our emotional needs and our emotional motivation is the way I wrote it down. We're really wanting to call in those most nurturing connections. Mars and Cancer can relate to family matters. It can be about our personal security. Okay, so we have those energies coming in really quite strongly right now with Mars retrograde in Cancer. I will mention that as the moon, and today's Sunday, this is going to happen as the day goes on and into tomorrow, as the moon gets closer to Mars, it's going to obscure this a little bit. It's called an occultation when the moon is conjunct a planet. And when that happens, the moon kind of is said to like take over those energies. It kind of quiets the energy of the planet that it's occulting, that it's conjunct for that period of time. Tomorrow we'll talk about the full moon in Cancer. Today, This Mars trine Neptune is quite active, especially during the day on Sunday. As we get into the night and the moon gets closer to Mars, those energies will sort of take over a little bit, those full moon in Cancer energies that I'll talk more about tomorrow. Okay, Neptune and Pisces by itself, not in this trine to Mars, just the Neptune and Pisces energies. We're thinking about things like dreams, spirituality, intuition, boundaries kind of dissolve with Neptune and Pisces. There's less separation between us and others. So that brings in sort of heightened, deepened compassion, creativity, heightened creativity. The lines can be a bit blurry. A lot of things can be a bit blurry with Neptune and Pisces. It can be a good feeling or it can be a little confusing of a feeling, but either way, it's probably a little bit hard to grab onto. You know, it can feel a little fuzzy. So, I think putting these two things together is so interesting. Um, and because it's a trine, that indicates that it's a harmonious conversation between these two energies. They're getting along, they're enjoying this interaction. They're interacting for mutual purposes to further their goals, right? They're sort of pinging off of each other. Um, so it's sort of a flow between action and inspiration. Um, I think it's a chance for us to flow between our action and our inspiration, to feel very inspired by something, Neptune and Pisces, and then to take action on it, Mars and Cancer. That could be something emotional, that could be something creative. Um, it's a chance to really align our emotions with our spiritual ideals, right? So check in with making sure that um, the beliefs that we have are feeling right, right? Sort of checking in with these different um, maybe ways that we live our life, ideals that we try to live up to, and make sure that that's feeling sort of emotionally sound. I guess it's like a good time to reflect on our um, goals, our ideals. Ideals is sort of a funny word. I want to find another one. It's a good chance to reflect on our priorities for the way that we show up in the world on sort of an emotional level and think about whether or not it still feels right to be showing up that way. You know, to think about, am I sort of aligning with my emotional truth? Am I being honest, at least with myself, about where I am emotionally? Um, am I doing that with my spiritual beliefs? Am I showing up the way that I really believe and feel that I should in this world? I think it's a real chance for nurturing with the Mars in Cancer and for healing with Neptune and Pisces, right? To sort of combine the energies of nurturing and healing is very beautiful. Could really be a time, an opportunity to heal some old conflicts with this energy coming in, especially as they relate to family. And to learn how to better listen to our instincts and our inner voice. I think that we have a chance to resolve those conflicts through that heightened empathy and through that creativity, being able to see things a little bit differently. And as that moon does get closer to Mars, as we get later in the day today, that occultation might actually be sort of nice because I think it will sort of dim any of the aggressive or anxious tendencies of Mars retrograde in Cancer for a time. It will sort of take that over. So it is an interesting time to sort of move things forward. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the other trine that's happening at the exact same time. It's so interesting. So just let me get a second to pull this up, where now we also have going on at exactly the same time the sun in a trine, another harmonious aspect, which is great. The sun here in Capricorn. Here's Uranus. Whoops. Forming a trine to Uranus here in Taurus. And let me just doodle that as well. I wish I was faster at this, or that I was better at talking and doing it at the same time. I know that the pace of these live streams is a little bit more forgiving, but I know a lot of you are also watching this later, and I just want to keep it moving. But I appreciate your patience, and I'm really enjoying doing these daily live streams. I'm going to link to a video at the end here about that I did the other day about why daily live streams. And I think, basically what it comes down to is it's really nice to talk about the energies that we're actually in while we're in them. As an astrologer, I'm always looking forward to what's coming up in the future, but it's really nice to just talk about what's going on now. Okay, so this isn't exact until the 13th, till tomorrow, on the other side of this full moon. But it's coming into alignment now. So we have the sun at 22 degrees and Uranus at 23 degrees. As long as planets are within 3, 4, 5. So this is active and really sort of has been perfecting tomorrow. So this trine, before we were talking so much about emotions, we were in the water signs, right? We were talking about Pisces, we were talking about Cancer. Now we're in the earth signs. So we're talking about more practical, sort of material things, real world aspects of what's going on here. So I'm going to talk about the thing all together rather than break it down by planet for this one. I have a few different points that I wrote down. The first is sort of combining innovation and structure, right? The earth signs are sort of all about structure, and the sun in Capricorn is all about structure, building, understanding structure. And then Uranus brings innovation and new solutions to mind, perhaps quite quickly. So being able to bring sort of practical solutions, innovative solutions to real world material problems or challenges is a real potential during this energy. We also have that tension going on, or not that tension, that harmony going on between Mars and Neptune at this time. So we're able to find sort of practical solutions to things and emotional solutions to things. And that's basically what I meant at the beginning of the video. Now that we've laid both out, that's basically what I meant at the beginning of the video about things shifting and changing inside and out. We have the practical trine happening for us here with these two planets and earth signs. And then we have sort of the emotional inward stuff happening with the water signs, with Mars and Neptune, especially with a Mars retrograde. So here we have that practical level, innovation and structure. Stability can come through change with an aspect like this is something else I was thinking about. So the sun here, well, Capricorn in general, earth signs in general, Taurus in general, all about stability. Just like all about structure, all about stability. Those are the kinds of words we're looking for. Uranus, on the other hand, is all about change. So that coming into these energies, it can be easier for us to make changes sometimes when we know it will ultimately bring in greater stability. And those are the kinds of solutions that might come up during this time. It's easier to take a risk if you know that on the other side of the risk, it could lead to more stability. And if you know that it's a calculated risk that you've really weighed out and thought about. So also, I think that there's a resonance between freedom and responsibility here. These earth signs, Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, very, very responsible. But Uranus craves freedom. So maybe finding new ways to harmonize the two in some kind of a way. Okay, so now let's just put this all together really quick before I look at your questions. And before we go, I do have 3 points that I want to make um, about these two in combination. It is an interesting alignment, isn't it? And there's so much positive potential because they're both trines. I really love it. Let's get them both up here at the same time. Can you let me know in the comments if you think that these visuals are helpful, or would you rather me go at a faster pace and just have the chart up? Do you think it helps, or what do you think? And please leave any questions in the comments, any and all questions. I absolutely love to answer your questions. That is why I am here. I will do the Q&A at the end. I will check them out. As I get better, I'll be better at going back and forth. But for right now, I just want to make sure I get my, that I stay focused and do the Q&A at the end. But please, if you're watching this later, leave questions in the comments and I can get to them the next day. I love the back and forth. It's my favorite thing about this. One of my favorite things. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so we have these two trines happening at the same time. So combining them, it's like emotional growth and creative solutions at the same time, right? Like kind of feel the opening of that. If we're able to find some creative solution to an issue, to a problem, to something that we're trying to move forward, and along with that, there's sort of emotional growth, perhaps one pings the other. We do have the water trine coming in first. Perhaps first we have that emotional sort of growth spurt, and then it helps to bring in that creative solution on the other side. I also just think all around healing and empowerment, right? When I put all of these energies together, Sun and Uranus is like really empowered. Mars and Neptune, healing. But there's more to it than that. I'm really combining a few different signatures there. And I like that being at the same time. Again, is the healing coming first and then the empowerment? Because of the way, the order of these trines, perhaps, that we feel a little better about something. We're able to make sense of something, and that sort of empowers us and helps us move forward on the ground level better, you know? Also, I just think it's an opportunity to break free of old patterns. So that's always important to mention because it's rare and difficult. It's not easy to break out of old patterns. It's not easy to let go of things we've done for a long time. But when we have so much harmony between several different aspects in the sky, it's a real opportunity for that. Okay, I see a comment here about someone who was born in January, but I'm not really sure exactly what your question is. Just checking in with that really quickly. Yeah, you're having a solar return right now if you're born in January. So this sun is on top of your sun conjunction. So I was saying to someone the other day that making a wish on your birthday is really aligned with the astrology. It is sort of like the planets can maybe hear us a little easier. That's not exactly the right way to think about it, but it is good wish making time around your birthday. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Enjoy these two harmonious trines happening at the same time. Thank you for everything, and I will be back tomorrow.